Give me a little exercise up this journey here, and then there's more to be seen. This is a pretty steep little incline here. So I think instead of you listening to my heavy breathing, I'll show you if you can get an indication of how steep this is. I'm going to get back way when I get to the top. All right. Oh, man. With my heavy breathing, you see, this is the top of the structure, the incline that I just had to go with there.
Abbreviated.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Okay. If you want to start right here,
Okay.
what you got is the 1962 to 1966 building of the Henry Neely Dam, which is about 5 miles that way. As they built this, they had to put these big things into the ground, had to move this dirt, scrape the 10 Islands area of dirt. In the process of doing that, they uncovered 3 Native American burial mounds, 2 Native American villages from different time periods. So they got their geologists and their archaeologists and their historians out there for a minute or two and stopped what they were doing. And they did some studies and everything. If you kind of put your stories together, it sounds something like this. For thousands and thousands of years, Native Americans lived here, made their homes, buried their dead, raised their kids, and they would go on expeditions hunting and trading. When they did, a lot of times they had to cross the river, the Coosa. When they did, they would cross it right here on these
How they doing? You can see,
shallows. And before this dam was built, you could cross that. Most of the time, you could cross the Coosa River, and all you get wet is your ankles right at that spot.
So it's a good crossing point then.
Good crossing point.
So is this going toward Ohatchee or
Let's see.
the dam? What?
Toward the dam. What you do is you go, of course, you can't see it now since you put the dam in. It's kind of underwater.
Right, right.
But what you do is you just get back on 144 and go back, go back to your right. Come up to the crossroads up there where the Jack's hamburger and all that is. You just go straight on over there. You come around to the dam, and they got a big old rock out there with a plaque on it, showing where some of the stuff is.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, that pretty much it went on for thousands of years until 1540. At that point, they have oral tradition where Hernando de Soto came in. He crossed on the crossing there, set up camp. And that, of course, he left quick, but Europeans kept coming. You jump up to 1813, you got the War of 1812 going on. You got Andrew Jackson coming down here with his volunteer Tennessee Army fighting the Red Stick Creeks. You had Red Stick and White Stick Creeks, they were fighting each other. But anyway, he built, when Jackson came down here, he crossed over, went up here and he built a fort called Fort Strother. It's still flat up on top today because he put 3 drill fields up there to drill his army. Put his Native American allies on this big island over here. He put, let's see, he had his White Stick Creeks, he had Cherokee, Choctaw, and Chickasaw. And the reason that he built his fort there, which is about 5 miles back this direction, is because about 10 miles from where we're standing, somewhere down this direction, there was a Red Stick village that he wanted to take out. The name of it was Ohatchee. And in order to do that, he had to have some good scouts and some people who knew the area. So he found a Cherokee Indian up around Napalula Falls up there, living around there, who was not too particularly friendly with Red Stick Creeks, or creeks in general, but especially Red Stick Creeks. And he said, yeah, I'll help you. And his name was Sequoyah. Later on, he becomes the guy who invents the written language of the Cherokee. And he still needed a good scout, so turns out he had one in his army by the name of Davy Crockett. And these two and a few other guys go down there. They find the place, and they call back, and of course, Jackson turns this over to his cavalry commander, General Coffee, and he goes down there with 900 mounted volunteers. They find Ohatchee, find that it's heavy cabins with big, thick logs on them. They don't have any guns. That's one of the things Jackson was going after them first for. He knew they'd sent out parties to try and buy them, but he didn't think they had them yet. They find it. They find the place. It's surrounded by water. He decides, Coffee decides his best deal is send his men in, shoot up the village, and run out to this flat spot where they usually grow crops. This is on 3 October of 1813, so there's no crops in the field. When he does that, 500 Indians, Red Sticks, come running out and chase him out to that open spot, and his 200 or so men go to ground there. The other 700 that were surrounding the village in the creek bank stands up. They get to order, stand up, and they fire. Just about did end the creeks right then. As a matter of fact, Davy Crockett in his journal said that at that point we shot them down like dogs. And anyway, it goes on, and they finally have to burn the place down because the last 50 Indians will not surrender. They just keep shooting. And they stop shooting if the Indians, they try and tell them, hey, come out, come out. One of their 19-year-old boys gets killed, gets an arrow right in the throat while he's saying to come out. So they said, that's it, no more of our people dying. They burned the place down. They managed to get about 22 old men out alive, and they got out 84 women and children alive. And they got one of these babies they found up under his mama, not a mark on her. She was smoke inhalation. Coffee picks the baby up, finds out his dad's killed, his mom's killed, so he's an orphan. Tries to give him to the Creek women. They said, no, we're not going to take him because he's only 10 months old. He's just a burden to him. So let his family spirits watch over him. And old Coffee said, I don't think so. I can't stand it. So he goes back to Jackson and shows him to Jackson, and a miracle happened. Old Jackson just fell in love with this baby. Sent him back up, raised him as his own son up in the Hermitage until he got to be 15 years old, and had great ambition for the boy because he was going to send him the next year at age 16 to the West Point Military Academy. Unfortunately, at age 15, he got the tuberculosis and he died.
Killing a lot of people back then.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this is 1813. That Battle of Ohatchee was the first American victory in the Creek Indian War. And today, nobody even knows it ever happened. Jumping ahead, 1864, you got Union forces under General Rousseau on this side of the river, 2,500 cavalry. Confederate forces over here under General Clanton with 200 cavalry. Clanton's been told, keep Rousseau from crossing the river. He looks at the numbers, says I'm outnumbered 12-1. I don't know. Leads to a 2-day skirmish right here at the ford. By the way, the skirmish we reenacted every year at, well, this year's going to be the last weekend in March, if you want to come back.
At this location here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We just pretend it's 10 hours ago. But anyway, first day, the Confederates won, drove all the Federal forces off. Next, and they held both sides of the crossing. Next day, old Rousseau reinforces, comes back, just does a number on the Confederates, kills a lot of their enlisted, captured 2 of their major officers, and sent Clanton and what was left of his force back to his side of the Coosa. But Clanton thought he'd figured out what Rousseau's mission was. So he's going to cross that river and come down here to Blue Mountain and burn down the Confederate arsenal. So he went to guard that. That wasn't Rousseau's mission. Rousseau had been in contact with Sherman. Sherman wanted him to bring all that cavalry down. Sherman's getting ready to attack Atlanta, and he wanted that cavalry to raid southeast from Decatur, which is in Union hands, all the way down to Opelika, Alabama. Get on the Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's where Rousseau had started from.
And he's going to move over to Georgia from there.
Well, he's going to go down to Opelika, and then he's going to tear the rails up to West Point, Georgia.
I got you.
And in that way, there won't be any supplies supposedly coming up to Atlanta. Make sure. And that's the first ones that you find of this, they'll have one big rock with a little scratch in it. And later on, you find out they have 2 and 4 and 7 and however many. So I always like to tell the story. This is the story of that particular tool, according to Tom Norton.
Right. And you're Tom Norton.
That's right. See, there's this one Indian who's known as, "Oh, my thumb hurts,"
Okay.
because he was opening these things up with two rocks.
Okay.
And quite often he missed and hit his thumb. He said, "I'm tired of that." So he was fairly smart, and he got there and scratched him a little place out on the stone, put the nut in, and said, "Wow, don't hit my thumb anymore. That's great."
There you go.
But his cousin, he was chief entrepreneur. And he saw it and said, And he got him a great big rock, made a whole bunch of little ones, put a bunch of them in there and got another big rock and just smashed.
First assembly line.
There you go. First mass production.
Yeah. And a bunch of arrowheads here. Hold on a
Yes, sir.
second. I know that. Okay, I'm going to ignore that. All right. Artifacts. I remember as a kid in Alabama, finding arrowheads was a pretty common thing. It's not so common anymore.
Well, discouraging a lot. If you're on the
Some black powder.
Yes, sir. Used to have one that was set up as a flintlock right here with the owner.
So-
Really careful about it themselves.
Yeah.
They
So
put
how long has this collection been here?
I would say around 2000 and
I'm going to hang up
Four.
right now. She was listening to your tour.
oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I think about 2004.
Okay.
I think when they finally got set. It might have been later than that. Might have been 2009.
Got some from the scouts here. I got a friend that's a scouter. He's been volunteering with him. Oh man, look at this utility knife. Are you kidding me? It's a major.
Well, actually, that is what they call a showpiece. And the people who produced it would make knives that you put different blades on.
Yeah.
You put about 10 on the blade. But you have all these different varieties. So they would open it up and say, "Look, we can make you a knife. We can put you any 10 of these on."
I got you. That was okay.
And this also is a showpiece. What they do here, before television and radio and stuff, they would take one of these, put them in a chair, stand up on it and say, "We can make you knives with these kind
There
of
you go.
things on it."
I'll be darned. This is very fascinating. Custom made knife collection. And then what was this back here? This is,
Sort of salute to the Western movement.
I got you.
Kind of, sort of.
I got you. Very interesting. The Bugle Boy. Now that is a neat collection there. Gambler's Accessories. That's a neat little collection.
Oh, yes, sir. I was interested in this thing. I finally figured out why that was so important. If you're gambling on a riverboat in the middle of February, you're trying to deal those cards off the bottom, you got to keep your hands
It's
warm.
a hand warmer.
That's what that was.
And they've got a garter on there.
That's Lady of the Evening.
Oh, man.
Apparently that was a dangerous profession back then.
There were a lot of dangerous professions. My goodness. Now, this is not black powder.
Oh, no, so these, well, some of them.
Well, that one is up here, I see. Yeah, and there's another one there, yeah.
But a lot of these, those are your Army and Navy coat molds. These are the iconic symbols of the Civil War. If you ever saw the movie Outlaw Josie Wales,
Oh, it's an old one, yeah.
he's got a set of these. And he's got one of these and one of these too.
I'll be darned.
Most of your Confederate cavalry would carry around 6 pistols with.
And this used to be our bombs.
Yes, sir. Artillery.
Yeah, there's a, where is it? Not Hermitage, but up in Tennessee, another old house that's still got the holes in it from where it was shot up with cannonballs, yeah. So I'm taking an outside walk. A lot of activity. I'm Janney Furnace, and
Then there's a guy
I really appreciated that tour and the information he shared. And I do have to chuckle because people talk about how divided we are as a nation, and you really got to look back and say, are you freaking kidding me? Do you not remember what's called the Civil War? You want to talk about a divided nation? And I would say counting civilian along with the military, over the military's Confederate and Union lost between 600 and 700,000, I believe, combined. And that's not counting civilian casualties. And this was us fighting us. And even though in recent years there's always that talk. Now here's just a list of local names of men that were lost in the, I'm sure it was the Confederate, all these Confederate. And he was talking, this guy was, I think, all of 24. And he was at that young age, they call him a military genius. But anyway, all these lives lost in a conflict when we were at war with ourselves. And this talk and these rumors, people talking about, we're on the verge of a civil war. These people today don't have the guts. Trust me, I really do not believe there's hardly a soul on this planet or in this country right now that would have the guts to even come close to what any of these guys went through. And I'm not supportive of the Civil War. I'm not supportive of war at all. But I just think it's really ridiculous. So on January 11th, 1861, the state of Alabama seceded from the Union, joined the Confederate States of America, and on April 15th, 1861, the United States declared war on the Confederacy. Citizens of Calhoun County were among the first in Alabama to respond to the invasion of our sovereign soil. Over 4,000 of Calhoun County's best and finest men left to defend the safety of their families, their homes, and independence of our nation to the Confederate States of America. 4 years later, over 2,000 lay slain and less than half survived to return home. Calhoun County lost more men in the war for Southern independence than Alabama's total combined war dead of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And this memorial is a list of these names. And then we're going to go around to Janney's furnace. There's Robert E. Lee. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time. These names were, for the most part, are meaningless to us, but there is that memorial. So, if you want to talk about how divided we are, this is a purpose of coming to a place like this, to know what real division was, what real sacrifice was, what really fighting for what you stood for was. And I'm not saying the fight was worth it. I'm simply saying that we're just armchair warriors. We're Facebook warriors, and that's the ridiculousness of this division we have in our country right now. So this is Janney furnace, what's left of it. The furnace was constructed by Montgomery businessman Alfred A. Janney, reportedly using slaves brought from Tennessee by Dr. Smith. The furnace was completed and ready to produce pig iron when, on July 14, 1864, a Union cavalry raiding force of 2,300 men, led by Major General Lovell H. Rousseau, crossed the Coosa River at the Ten Islands Ford en route to destroying the railroad between Montgomery and West Point, Georgia. Learning of the location of the furnace, Rousseau dispatched his engineer officer, Captain Ed Ruger, and a detachment to destroy the chimney of the furnace, leaving the stone structure in place. They also buried all wooden buildings intended to support the operation of the furnace. And this is my understanding, the one remaining part of Janney furnace, going back to the 1860s. And after it was destroyed, I assume they must do some presentations here to have this set up. But here we go. This is a heck of a stone structure. It's padlocked. You're not going to get in there. For sure. I don't know what that gate is laying down there. Of course, that goes straight up there. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. local fella.
Yeah, he's a local electrical contractor, and that's also the line of work that I'm in.
Okay, 1843. Wow.
His wife's mother, I think it was born in this cabin.
Wow. My gosh. Before it was moved. Let's see. From June 2012. So it was moved in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then they restored it here on this site from there, I guess.
Yeah.